guys ready out there? All right, so what I need to start, that we do this at home, is I do a collective clap. And that means on 3, when I get, not when I get to 3, but it's 1, 2, 3, then clap. We need to do a clap together at the same time. So don't mess up, because this is how Steven is going to sync everything up. All right, we ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes, touchdown there.
Solid clap.
It is. It's pretty darn solid. How are you, Steven?
Doing good.
You are good?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where we are?
We are technically in Santa Rosa?
Yeah, it's Santa Rosa.
Okay.
But I didn't, yeah, Santa Rosa. But I'm not going to throw you under the bus.
Not Seattle.
Not Seattle.
Not
oh, you
Seattle.
throw yourself under the bus?
Yeah, I'm going to throw myself
For the last week, you've been sitting there going...
Every time I brought this trip
You're
up, I was like, oh, when we're going to Seattle?
We're going to Seattle next week.
Seattle.
Seattle's going to be next week.
And he called me out on it every single time.
I'm like, where are we going? Shit, we're going to San Francisco. All right, so let me do the intro here. Jared Poland, FroKnowsPhoto.com. Welcome to RAWtalk, episode 99. That's right, this one is called Live from Santa, what did I write here? Live from
Seattle.
Sorta San Francisco, because we're an hour-ish north, right? We went up, we didn't go down. We went over the Golden Gate Bridge this morning. So, this is episode 99. We're really close to 100, Steven.
I did think this was going to be 100, too.
Well, what we could have done is, before we left, done a RAWtalk on Thursday, and then saved this one for the next week, but then the news becomes old, and then there wasn't a lot of news.
It would have been like 3 weeks old by that point.
Yeah, which is never a good thing.
No, not at all.
So, we're here with 99. Which is good. So where are we? We are at the ThinkTank headquarters in Santa Rosa. Let's give them a big round of applause for allowing us to be here. All right. Yeah, big thank you to ThinkTank for allowing us to take over their busy office on a Saturday.
There's a lot of people here.
We have a good amount of people. Thank you guys for coming out.
We have your twin here, too.
What, right behind me?
Yeah. Giant fro right behind you.
I know. The fro behind me. It's different than the fro below me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to watch out for the fro below. Well, that was more like the 70s.
Oh, God.
But, so yes, big thank you to ThinkTank for allowing us to be here. And then also we have to thank Squarespace, because they were the ones who basically gave you guys free tickets, because you didn't have to pay for them, because they supplied us with the, what do they call that stuff? Sponsorship dollars?
I think so, yeah.
Sponsorship. Basically, they give us money so that you guys don't have to give us money, but it also gives them promotion. So, how many people here have a Squarespace?
I do, but it's not set up yet.
A couple. Did you use my code? Yeah. Awesome, guys. So, yeah, if you haven't checked out Squarespace, please go to squarespace.com/fro, and you get a 14-day free trial to see if you like it. And if you like it, go ahead and use the code FRO, and you will get 10% off your first year or month, which is a pretty good savings. Is somebody late? Somebody coming in yet?
Nope.
Late? No? I guess you guys are all on time.
Dude.
So big thank you to Squarespace. Please do that. It does help me out when you use that code FRO, and we're good to go on that. Good?
Good.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
Get it?
I get it.
Got it?
I got it.
You have an announcement yet?
I do.
You want to go to that announcement?
I guess we'll switch to that. So, after a year and a half of working with you part-time, I'm officially full-time now with Jared. Finally.
Yeah.
I made the tough choice of finally quitting the radio station, which I've been there for about 7 years, so it took a while for me to finally end that, but yeah, now we can do whatever, whenever, wherever.
That's a
be
song.
Cool. Is it?
Whatever, whenever, Shakira. It's Shakira.
Oh, God.
She's got such a weird voice.
But it's awesome.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
She's like, whenever, she does that whole belly dancing stuff.
I don't mind it.
All right. Well, you don't mind it. Well, welcome aboard. Yesterday was officially your first day, and you spent it on an airplane.
Yeah.
And at the Phillies game.
6 hours on an airplane, yeah. It was
6
fun.
hours.
I actually watched 3 movies. It was good.
I watched, what, 2?
Yeah, I think you were falling asleep halfway.
I went to halfway through Lego Movie, I went to sleep.
I had a good conversation, too, with the girl next to me, the older lady next to me.
Yeah.
But she was a nice lady.
She was a cougar.
She talked to...
She wasn't a cougar. She was like 20 years past a cougar.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's a little older than that.
She was like a silver fox.
I guess that's a good way to describe her.
Well, I think they're called silver... Well, wait.
Gilfs.
Oh, a gilf? We got the peanut gallery. Did that come from the hairy guy? Who got the gilf? Oh, we got the gilf. What does gilf stand for, by the way? Oh. Just wanted to hear what he had to say about that. God. Yeah, so you had a good discussion with
I did.
The gilf?
With the gilf, I had a good discussion. She actually talked about her horses that she has, and that's it for like 2 hours.
Horses.
And she's like a sociology teacher or something like that.
That was cool.
What, did you talk to whoever was sitting next to you?
There were 2 people next to me. They were a couple, and they held hands for a while.
Did they sleep?
Yeah, they slept, and then I put my in-ears in, so I just float away. When I put my in-ears in, I'm good. Like,
I will
leave
say
me
the
alone.
pilot did a great job of just describing like everything. He was like a tour guide.
He was. I've never had a pilot get on and be like,
well, to the left, you have the mountains, blah, 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 Grand Canyon.
if you look out to the right-hand side of the plane over at 37,000 feet, you're going to see a little bit of a hole in the ground. That's called the something.
It was good, though. I enjoyed that a lot.
It was pretty cool, and I was like, what the hell is this guy saying? So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming here full-time. I think we've got a lot of stuff to crush.
And now we can travel wherever. You know, we got Germany and Poland coming up.
We do. Speaking of Germany and Poland, September 12th, we are arriving in Warsaw. For any of our Polish listeners out there, I'm trying to figure out how we're going to meet up at some point, but there will be Warsaw. We are doing the Jewish sites for 4 to 6 hours. I hired a private tour guide for us so that we can understand the language and not get arrested. And then we go to Krakow on the 14th, and a lot of other people. We're going to Auschwitz, which I did get approval to shoot there.
That's going to be a sight.
That's going to be very, very, I'm sure, a very
Powerful.
emotional and powerful place. And then we leave on the 15th, but we go to Photokina. For anybody in Germany, we're going to be in Photokina for the first day, which is Tuesday and Wednesday. So 16th and 17th of September. Sorry, 17th September and 16th. So you got to do it backwards for them.
Oh, yeah.
They do it back.
I forgot about that.
They do it backwards. So we've got that going, and they're giving us a room to do a RAWtalk. I just have to get at Photokina. So
do you know if it's going to be big or?
Well, everything's bigger in Germany.
What? I mean, the room is going to be able to fit like 70 people.
I don't know how many of our German readers will show up, but I'm trying to get a picture of the room from our German correspondent, Hans Fritz.
Okay.
They're going to be helping us out to figure out if that's where we need to be. It would be good to do a RAWtalk there.
Oh, for sure.
In front of the German, because we were there when I was there the first time. We had last minute. We had about 13, 14 people show up at the Kölner Dome.
Should we have like those like in-ear translators as we're doing it the whole time?
What,
for the audience?
From like her? Oh, you mean at the UN?
Yeah.
They just hang there on the ears and then they're good to go.
Not even paying attention the whole time.
Yeah, they're really just listening to like music the whole time.
Yeah.
So that's Photokina. I'm really looking forward to going to Photokina again. I'm actually looking forward. The whole point is, the reason I picked Poland to go to beforehand is why would we just go to Photokina for 3 or 4 days and then fly home?
Yeah, it's not worth it.
If we're there, we might as well do something about it. So, we have a sponsor for that. That's why we're going.
Yes.
Black Rapid was able to get us some funding, which is basically covering the expenses to make the trip happen. So Black Rapid, I've got my Fronos photo iShoot. Anybody have a Black Rapid strap for me? An iShoot RAW version? All right. 3 people. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. Thank you. I love that strap. Anyway, I think you want to jump into this interview? We got Kurt here for about 10 minutes. Kurt, you want to get your tuchus up here and put it in the chair? Please? Kurt is one of the founders, Kurt Rodgers. That is Kurt Rodgers.
Hey, well, thanks for having me at my own office here.
Yeah, slide on in.
Yeah.
Well, anytime, man.
Oh, yeah. And, you're welcome anytime you get to the Bay Area, Northern California. You're welcome in our office.
I will keep that in mind.
Good.
I really appreciate you guys offering up this space. It's a perfect space for us to be out here just to get all these people here. It's really cool. You were saying this is the most amount of people you've ever had in your office?
I think this is the most amount of people I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah. So we don't get out much.
No.
Being up here in Northern California.
So are you one of the founders?
I am one of the founders of ThinkTank.
Go into that real quick.
We started 10 years ago, and Doug Murdoch, myself, my wife, Deanne Fitzmaurice, and Mike Sturm got together and said, we need to make some bags. And so 10 years later, here we are.
Hey, dude, we need to make some bags.
Exactly.
That was it. You guys got in a room one day and you're like, let's make some bags.
We didn't even have a room back then. It was just a garage.
A garage?
Yeah, garage. Doug's garage.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's like Apple?
It's
and HP?
It was worse than Apple. We didn't have any heat.
You didn't have heat?
No heat. We danced around. We figured out that the reason the Indians used to jump around a lot is because they were all cold all the time.
They were all cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing happened to us.
You got cold, so you danced
we got cold,
around.
Danced around, made a bunch of bags.
And peace pipe.
We didn't do much of that. But,
all right. You and I were having a little discussion beforehand about selfies and where this has all gone. What's your feeling on that?
Well, I mean, I have a pretty strong feeling after being a news photographer for 30-something years. And I personally never really wanted to be part of any kind of a picture. I just wanted to make the picture and have that live for itself. And even the fact that even if you were shooting somebody that was, really famous, like let's just say you and I'm coming to take your picture, I'm surely not going to want to, get a selfie with you, because I would rather you be able to carry that picture wherever it's going to go. It's going to, you
Sure.
don't need me to be in your picture.
Right.
And I don't need the fact that I'm in your picture to make me something better than I'm, already am.
That's more of a photographer,
Absolutely.
photographer type of thing. Like, I don't go and do selfies, which there's nothing wrong. I know people are going to want to take pictures here. That's a different type of thing. It just went as a photographer. When I'm touring with bands or working with musicians or backstage or just doing this Billy Joel thing, it's not like I care about getting a selfie. I just say hi. Hi's
Exactly.
enough, and then taking the pictures is enough because I took the damn picture.
Right.
So that works out. You were talking about Bill Clinton earlier.
He thanked me for not taking some pictures while he was eating, and invited me along in a couple of little excursions. And I got some access that nobody ever gets, but it's just by treating somebody right. You treat people right, and they'll treat you right. And instead of trying to jump in and make something that makes somebody uncomfortable or makes their handlers uncomfortable.
Who were you doing that job for?
I was with the San Francisco Examiner at that point.
So basically, you were saying you got to ride in the limo, go to the airport.
Yeah, I've been
the beast
in the whole that whole motorcade, and done all kinds of things with various different other people too.
It sounds like an experience.
It's a great experience, and it's something that it lasted for 30 years, and it seemed like it went in a matter of a 1,000th of a second.
Yeah.
It's gone.
That's cool though. I've never been through that. But what you said about not taking photos of him eating, it's the same thing. You have to give respect to the people that you're photographing. Most of the time, food photography, unless they are chefs, even them, you're not even going to take pictures of them eating because nobody looks good eating.
Right.
Nobody.
Right.
Even
right.
supermodels.
See, exactly. And so you just have
Well,
to
they
respect.
don't eat. They just have crackers.
Yeah. Do they eat crackers?
I don't even
I'm
think
not
crackers.
Sure.
Maybe
Yeah.
just what is that thing
Well,
you
the
lose
peanut
weight?
butter cracker that you brought in this morning.
I love peanut butter crackers.
You guys saved me, by the way, for feeding me this morning. That was.
Did you have peanut butter crackers?
Yeah, I think I had some granola bar.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Kind bar.
Yeah, that was it.
They're good.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah. Omega-3s and proteins. So
It's
you
all
have
good.
about I've seen on the blog you've been focusing in on single photographs and doing stories about them.
We've been doing a thing called About a Photograph, which is a little blog that my wife and I put together, and we find a picture that we actually really like, and we kind of go in and we interview over Skype the photographer and put together a little 90-second to 2-minute piece on what it is about this photograph that made it the photograph. This week we did Robert Hanashiro, a USA Today photographer, talking about Robin Williams, which it's about a minute and a half, and it's perfect. It's just nice and sweet. And he basically talks about how his first encounter with the comedian.
Where can people find this?
They can find it on our blog, or they can go to www.aboutaphotograph.com and see. We've done about 26 of them now, so it's coming along.
Yeah. So that's definitely a good thing to check out. What's the future hold for you guys?
Oh, all kinds of cool things. We're getting some new stuff in here soon that you'll, I'm sure, be interested in. I can't really talk about it, but it's another month or so, and we'll have some, kind of interesting things.
New toys.
New toys, new bags, we're doing inserts for DJI helicopters now, which, everybody's got one. I'm sure you said you had 3.
I think we've got one that we added to the Wheel of Fro.
Okay.
Well, you're on the Wheel of Fro. ThinkTank's on the Wheel of Fro, by the way. But yeah, DJI gave us a Phantom 2 Plus, I believe, that you have to spin. It's like if you go on the Wheel of Fortune and you've got that million one.
Yeah.
That's between 2 bankrupts. That's kind of what we have.
Okay.
You'll see it on the new wheel today because we're actually going to spin it up there on the screen because we spun it before we left. But you'll see it's like a sliver. So it's going to be cool.
All right.
You guys are easier to win. I think you have 2 spots on the wheel.
Well, so ThinkTank's been doing really well. We also started a company called Mindshift, and that's more of an outdoor world where we have a couple of bags, 3 bags that rotate, and it's changing the way people look at the outdoors.
And that's going very well?
It's going pretty well. It's really hard to get things out there today, and especially, out there in the outdoor world, everybody, how many backpacks are there? You walk into a store and there's a wall of them. So how do you stand out as a bag company when there's, so much to choose from?
Very cool.
But just build the best, and people, I think, will come.
Very cool. Well, that's what you guys have done. We travel around with I travel around with my ThinkTank bags all the time, and keep it up, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out or letting us come into your office space.
Absolutely. Anytime, like I said,
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Cool.
Thank you.
Let's give Kurt a round of applause here. We'll get Steven back. JJ, how we doing on time over there?
We're not calibrated, so a minute and a half on the timer.
Yeah. We got JJ running. JJ's been helping us out. He drove us here from San Francisco, which is good. We went to the baseball game last night, and JJ's running the cameras. Did you need to? Do we need to refocus this? You made it wider?
No, we're good.
Yeah, you sure?
Yes,
Positive?
I'm positive.
You positive?
100% positive.
You better?
Mm-hmm.
All right, because I'll be upset.
Yep.
I'll be upset.
Can't wait.
Well, do whatever you need to do, JJ, but don't mess up. All right, so Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Atlantic City. There's a song
Bruce
about
Springsteen.
Atlantic City. Bruce Springsteen.
Classic.
Yeah, I can't sing it. I could
I'm
do the
not gonna
John
sing
Mayer
it.
version. You want the John Mayer version?
I really
of it?
don't want any version of that song.
How's it go again?
I don't know.
Meet me
actually
in
do know.
Atlantic City.
There's this band called The Hold Steady
that was
that did a
horrible.
great version of that song.
Really?
Look it up if you guys haven't heard it yet.
So what were we doing? What happened? How did we get this thing set up?
So basically, my family goes to the Atlantic City Air Show every year, minus last year because last year they didn't have the Thunderbirds, which is like the big show there, basically.
F-16s
Yeah,
flying
F-16s flying by, doing crazy stuff, kind of like the Blue Angels. Anyway, this year I found out like last minute, like the day before that it was happening this past week, and so I called up and found out who was in charge of it and got some media credentials for us, because at first we were just going to go down and just photograph from the beach, but I called up the lady and was like, do we need any special permission or like a permit or anything like that just to be safe? And she's like, no, but I can get you media passes and you can shoot from like the balcony. And I'm like, all right, cool. So we went down there, met up, and what is that?
Sounds like a horn.
Okay.
Somebody was getting upset. So somebody in California was driving slow.
Anyway, so I went there and we met up, got media credentials. We ended up going on the pier to the observation deck and just had
Third
this
floor up.
phenomenal view. There's only like, I don't know, probably 6 to 10 other photographers with us. At first, it was just me and you and another a father and a son, which they were
Dave?
really, really helpful.
Dave?
I don't
think it was
remember the
Dave.
name. I think I was setting up when you guys were introducing each other.
Well, it was awesome, but I really love the fact that you took the balls by the horns and you got us the credentials. And you
exactly
set it
what
up.
I did.
Well,
Yeah.
you set it up, which is great. That makes it easier on me.
And I'm surprised they let us do it because it was literally like hours before the event. And she's like, yeah, I'll put your name down, even though we did go and our name wasn't on any of the lists.
That's fine. But
yeah, she believed us.
Everything went smoothly that day,
Yeah,
which
very
is great.
smooth.
We kept a level head. We showed up. We walked to where we needed to. Somebody met us with some passes. We weren't on a list, but then through experience, you know how to cajole. Is cajole the word?
I have no
Is
idea.
cajole
I've never
the word?
heard of that word.
Cajole? Yeah, that's we did that, and we were able to get our passes and our wristbands to get to where we needed to, just because we look the part. We're rolling some bags. We look official.
We had a lot of bags, too. Because
Yeah.
we did kind of like a 5-minute portrait of how to shoot airplanes, I guess.
Definitely.
How to do panning, how to do high-speed photography, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was the first time that I ever have shot airplanes or an air show, and I reached out to my friend Matt Chow, who we're going to try to get on RAWtalk another time about how to shoot it. He's done it for 20 years.
He gave us some great tips.
Yeah, he gave us these quick tips, and then I tried to relay them while shooting. I've been looking at some of the photos. It's not the easiest thing to do because they
Not
have
easy at all.
the prop blur. When you've got a prop plane, you want to make sure you get the prop blur, but then if you slow your shutter speed down too far, then you're not freezing the plane, or if you
gotta
don't pan
pan
properly.
perfectly with it.
You're not using the VR lens with some stabilization going on. Anyway, it was difficult, but the 5-minute portrait should be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Because once those Thunderbirds came on, then it was exciting.
And should I tell them about the intro? How we
Yeah,
like had to refit. But so basically, we tried to film this really cool intro where Jared was doing the introduction, like, "Hey, we're in Atlantic City. This is a 5-minute portrait, air show style." And we were trying to get like planes to fly by at that right time. So we only had like a couple seconds. Well, we were waiting and waiting and waiting for the Thunderbirds at the way end. They were like the grand finale. and we finally saw them coming over, but literally they're so fast you have like 3 seconds to say it. So real quick, we're like, Jared, quick, do it. You know, AC style, this is the air show, 5-minute portrait, and then all of a sudden I pan to the planes, and it's just really cool intro.
The planes.
And how loud were they?
They were
some earplugs.
They were extremely loud.
Yeah.
I've never been that close to an F-16 flying like that with the afterburners blowing, and it was interesting.
Probably like 100 feet off the water in front of us. I mean, it was really close where that observation deck was.
The deck was the perfect place to be.
Perfect
And
place.
I just have to thank all of the people on the deck that were other photographers. Because I could ask them questions. I got to ask them questions because they've done it before.
Yep.
And that's the only way you're going to learn. And they were very, very helpful and supportive, and it was great to have people there to do that.
And your buddy hooked us up with food that night too. A ton of food.
All right, so we got to talk. Did
6-course meal.
Anybody see that Instagram photo? Yeah, with the seafood. That was a seafood
Chef.
tower. Yeah, seafood tower.
So good.
So Tim Davis, he's a photographer in Atlantic City. Also, he's a chef. He does catering at Caesars. And
Great guy.
We've talked. I've helped him out before, just through Facebook. We've had conversations. And he's like, anytime you come down to AC, let me know. I'll get you hooked up. And so I was sitting there on the deck. I'm like, oh, Tim's here. So I sent Tim a message, and he came over, and he brought us like a gift certificate for dinner.
In a chef uniform, all decked out.
Yep, all dressed. And then he's like, show up to this restaurant at 5:30. We go there. He's like, I'm just going to bring a bunch of stuff out. 6 courses later, we're done. 3 hours later, after eating, he's like, it's probably 5,000 calories of something. But I didn't eat all that.
Well, it's funny because by the time we actually got the main course, which was the steak that we wanted the whole time, the filet, we weren't even like hungry anymore. We're like, oh God, I gotta eat this whole steak now.
No, it's just awesome that there's, you guys, there's readers all over the world that if you say something, like, just reach out. I wasn't expecting to have dinner. I just was saying hi, and he's like, and he wanted to thank us for all the free content that we put out by inviting us to dinner, which was awesome.
And that was technically my last day at the radio station, so I had to be back home to update the website and record again. And I'm like, dude, we got to be home by 6. It's like 9 o'clock. We're still in Atlantic City. I'm like, God, I got to be home.
Yeah, you're going to fire
bringing
you,
food
Steven.
out. Yeah, well, I should have just not even went back home because it was my last day anyway. Who cares?
Yeah. Well,
but
you got
out
it
of
done.
respect, yeah, I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, you had to get it done, and then we did the show, and then we had a day off, and then we came here.
How'd the pictures look? Did you go through them yet?
Some of them.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of time to do it yet because it's just we've been constantly running.
It was cool because like the F-16s, the Thunderbirds actually go like upside down on top of each other.
I have great shots of that.
It's insane.
It's very hard to try. You want to talk about motor driving, motor scooter, spraying and praying. There is a little bit of that, but you're only doing that when you lock them in focus. I equated it to playing Top Gun on Nintendo. Anybody remember trying to get the plane to line up in the red dot, and then you crash trying to land and you get all pissed off?
And the seagulls, they threw you off every
The
time.
seagulls, man. I'm like, there's another plane. I'm like, shit, it's a seagull. And then because I don't see very well, and
I think you wish you had a 400, right, instead of a 300.
no, I wish I had a 600.
Oh,
To fill the frame, I wish I had a 600.
That
But we'll
would've been
talk
nice.
more about that when I go over the video and we do the 5-minute portrait.
Yep.
Photo news time.
I think it's photo news time.
Who wants to sing Steven's theme song for photo news?
Cue the song, please?
That's right, crickets. We don't even have a theme song. But maybe when we get to Nashville, we'll write the country version with our buddy down there.
I think we will finally have a song. Yeah, hopefully soon.
Country.
So first up, we have some tragic news this week with the passing of Robin Williams, obviously. In light of this whole tragic situation, a photographer named Daniel Sorin dug up some old photographs of what he thought was initially random mimes in Central Park in 1974, only realizing that a few years ago that one of those mimes was actually Robin Williams. He tells Petapixel, in quotes, "Back in the 1970s, I was a young photographer, short of funds and not able to afford a studio or adventurous treks around the globe in search of the perfect image. Therefore, the streets of New York City became my studio as well as a studio for many other aspiring photographers," end quote. So on weekends, Soren describes Central Park as, in quotes, a photographer's paradise thanks to an unlimited amount of live performers showcasing their various talents. It's just another showcase of Robin Williams, hilarious talent back in the 70s. And he did showcase this whole series of images after he passed. And it's just, it's crazy you never really know who you're shooting sometimes if you're doing street photography.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you can find all the photo news over at fronosphoto.com/RAWtalk-99.
Almost 100. Now, speaking of like a 600mm lens or just a huge long lens, the ginormous Canon 1200mm f5.6L lens is up for sale online on MPB Photographic over in the UK.
Oh, really? MPB?
Yes, MPB for a mere $165,000.
It's not. And what's that in pounds?
Oh, I don't know.
It's about 200,000 pounds.
I think
no, it's more than that.
No, it's 99,000 pounds or
Yeah,
something
it's
like
less.
that. It's less.
Less pounds.
Yeah. Now, only about 20 of these were ever made, so it's super rare, and only a few of those are privately owned. So for one to go up for sale is a pretty big deal.
It's 1,200 So
I'd
here's
rather
your
buy
options.
like a Lamborghini or
We have
something,
156,000, right?
Yes.
165?
165
165 US dollars.
dollars.
And in Canadian, I don't know what their dollar's worth right now. It's not even. They're not called dollars. They're called dollars. Loonies and toonies.
Yeah.
Did the people like my Canadian national anthem song?
Did they?
They said I was so close in French.
How did you actually in French?
Because I've watched enough hockey to learn the song over the years.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to sing it again?
No, I'm good.
They didn't want
you
me to
can
sing
save that
it
for
again.
episode 100.
Yes, this will be the singing episode
We could have done it yesterday at the park.
at the Take Me Out to the Ball game.
Yeah, we could have recorded you or something. Would have been great.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
now
no.
the
No. But
last-
wait. Don't interrupt. $165,000.
165,000.
You could buy a house in most cities, not San Francisco. You could buy like a toilet or something in San Francisco, but you could get maybe a nice Bentley that's a little used. You could get a Ferrari that was less expensive. All right, 165,000. Screw it. I'm buying that lens. Put it on my card.
And the last one of these.
But why would you buy that lens? Seriously.
I would never buy it personally. Well, I don't have the money to buy it.
But $165,000. You even have the money. What are you going to do with a 1200 5.6?
I don't know.
For 100, you could just do like a 800 millimeter 5.6 and put a converter on it if you wanted, and you'd save a hell of a lot of money, like $140,000.
The only thing I could think of would be like shooting like the space shuttle going off from super far away.
But there is no space shuttle.
I know. I'm just saying, like theoretically, if this was 10 years ago and they were still doing it,
I mean, what are you gonna?
that's the only thing I could think of.
Kurt? What would you shoot real quick? Is there anything you can think of you'd shoot with that?
I could sit in the stands at a football game.
Oh well, that's true for sports, but it's a 5.6. It's not good enough.
That's not my game.
Oh, all right. Yeah, yeah, but then you could pump up the 1DX and you'd make it work. All right, Steven, now that you've been interrupted, keep going.
Anyway, just finishing off that last one. The last one was actually sold in 2009. It was privately owned for $120,000 on B&H. So at least they got a little bit of a discount then, whoever got that one. Researchers have discovered and demonstrated a method to make efficient batteries out of hemp. It's a whole bunch of scientific mumbo-jumbo, so I'm not even going to try to explain how it's basically made, but I wanted to bring it up.
Did a bunch of hippies say, like...
I think a bunch of hippies actually made it.
Hey, man, I got this idea that there's this hemp. We could totally free the world for power off of hemp, and then you could just smoke it.
That's exactly what they said, actually.
It's a bunch of hippies.
It'd be interesting if it actually, becomes mainstream and actually every battery's made out of hemp.
They've been touting hemp for, like...
Years.
Ever.
Since
Forever.
the 70s.
Be like, hemp's gonna change the world, man. Just
on,
use
bro.
your mind. It's gonna free your mind. Drugs.
Photographer Martin Kimbell posted some interesting
drugs!
light-painted photographs online that mimic the look of a tornado. He used an LED hoop of some sort, which it looks like he pretty much just tosses it up in the air and just lets
That's pretty
lets
cool.
it come down, making like a tornado swirl. Now, the interesting part is that he shoots it on film too. He doesn't shoot it on digital, so he really doesn't know what he's getting.
Spell that?
What?
Film?
Film.
How do you spell that?
What is film again?
FILEM? Film?
Film.
Film?
But yeah, so he doesn't use digital.
He didn't pee on it this time,
He didn't
did
pee on it, no. And luckily nothing else either.
Oh.
He just processed it the normal way.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I'll be quiet.
And then moving forward, a photojournalist named David Carson was attacked while covering riots and looting in Missouri. Riots started in the small town of Ferguson, Missouri, after a young teen named Michael Brown was killed by police who opened fire on him. He was attacked, the photographer, after he took a few photos of armed looters from inside a vandalized convenience store. I mean, I don't know. Was he not expecting to get attacked?
You're taking pictures.
Photographing pictures
First off, the whole
of people
thing,
stealing stuff?
the whole thing's terrible.
Armed?
The whole thing's terrible.
Yeah, it is.
Looting, murder. I don't know the full facts, so I can't comment on
I
that.
don't either.
But you're a photojournalist. You're putting yourself in the harm's way. You're going to get the crap beat out of you when these guys have Glocks in their pants
Mm-hmm.
and they're looting a store and they've got masks on and you're taking pictures of them.
Yeah, clearly they don't want to be seen.
It's a very difficult situation that you have to ask yourself, is this worth the photo?
Mm-hmm.
So
Now, after the looters realized he was taking photos of them, one of them yelled, "He's taking pictures, kick his ass!" And within moments, he was on the ground being kicked. And I think someone, someone was just walking by.
Like a pastor of some sort.
Yeah, and he apparently helped him out, and they ran off or something like that.
That's terrible.
His camera lens shattered when he hit the ground. He ended up using the actual camera as a weapon to fight back. And he later took more photos from outside the store after he was beat up, after the looters lit it on fire. So I would have just left at that point.
That's all. It's all bad.
Yeah, it is bad. Polaroid, they released their own action cam. It's called the Cube. Specs include, I think this was announced, by the way, in January. But
I don't recall.
The original version was. But now they have a new and improved version. It's called the Cube. Specs include, it's basically just a rubber cube, first of all. Sports a 6-megapixel sensor. It shoots 1080p video. Built-in magnets around the shell as well, so it mounts pretty much on any metal surface, like Sutter's fixie bike or something like that.
Sutter's fixie bike.
Other mounting options include a helmet mount, bike mount, suction cup with waterproof housing, tripod mount, strap mount, and, you'll like this, a monkey-shaped mount, randomly.
Monkey-shaped mount?
It's literally like a little monkey that has, it's just like holding its arms out, and it's a mount for the camera. It's really weird. I don't know.
Is it for the porn industry?
It's being sold on Photo Jojo. So,
but that's it.
Yeah.
Polaroid's not even Polaroid anymore. It's just a name. Somebody bought the name, and now they're putting out crappy products.
Now, I will say it's only $100, so it is pretty affordable. I thought it would be a little more, especially when
6-megapixel video camera. It's probably not very good.
Well, I'm sure it's not the best, but
it's colorful.
Bucks, it is colorful. It's
I mean,
Polaroid.
I'd lick it.
It actually looks like Instagram, kind of like the shell and everything.
It's a cube. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Does it have a blinking red light?
I don't know.
So I don't know either.
That's a good question.
How do you know if it's working?
I don't know.
What
I don't have one. I don't know.
Right. We'll reach out to whoever owns or whoever bought the name for Polaroid.
Now, the other thing is, I wonder, they didn't really go into specifics as far as if it has like a micro SD slot or what.
Right. It's like, what's the memory?
It looked like it was built in memory because it's just built in charger. I'm not sure, but they had it connected via USB to a computer. So I don't know if it was built in memory or the battery or what.
We'll probably see it at Photokina. They usually have a booth there.
Mm-hmm. So researchers have created the world's fastest high-speed camera. It's called the Stamp, sequentially timed all-optical mapping photography. Now, the hardware uses an optical shutter to capture frames at 1/1,000,000th of a second. Now, with that being said, it's only 450 pixels by 450 pixels resolution in the end.
Does it shoot JPEG?
It's expected at such an insane frame rate. It's said to capture images as fast as 1/6 the speed of light. It is 1 square meter in size, so it is a beast, not something you can just bring around.
Holy Jesus, it's like a Lytro.
Yeah.
You know, Lytro's here.
Oh, God.
They're in the San Francisco area, and they have that, what was her name? Sarah? I don't remember her name.
I have no idea
I
who you're
met
talking
this
about.
girl she had the greatest hair ever.
Is this the blonde girl you always talk about? The little Bieber thing going
hair
on?
thing going. She was so cute. If you're watching, I'm single. But she was, I Lytro, man. What a bunch of crap that is. I'll keep saying that.
Do you know anyone that has a second version?
No, it's not out yet.
It's still not out?
No.
They announced it like almost a year ago, I feel like.
It's
well, not a year, but
my buddy just went from another job to there, and he's not authorized
to say anything
to talk about the product. He's like, well, I don't.
Well, I'm sure we'll see him at
Basically, they have the
Photokina.
marketing people, and they're full of shit. Remember, I ran into that guy, and I ran into them before this Illume camera got announced, and they're like, we can't show it to you early. I'm like, that's what you want to do. You want to show me the camera so I can tell people about it. That's called promotion, punk. I even called them to come out here to San Francisco when I was coming out. I was like, maybe you guys will give us money because you seem to have a lot of money, and then we could totally just go ahead and get that money from you to do a RAWtalk. But no, they never called me back. I didn't break her heart, though. Maybe it was I didn't do that. What happened? What's it like? 00. The code to ThinkTank is 000.
Very original code.
1, 2, 3, 4. Anybody know that reference? That's a combination of my luggage. Exactly. Spaceballs reference right there. That guy wins a prize. Can we throw him something? Did you get your Pixel Pocket Rocket? That's your prize. Congratulations.
You're not gonna throw him out this time? They gave it to everyone.
I had
guess.
him give him out before they walked in.
That would have been fun to throw him though.
But all right.
You got anything to throw? There's a MacBook Pro under there.
I got a MacBook Pro to throw.
Here.
All right. Sorry, I got off on a tangent on Lytro.
That's weird. You got off on a tangent. every time.
Piece of crap camera.
The New York Police Department sent out an official internal memo reminding police that they are allowed to be photographed. The note documents how they aren't allowed to take action to stop people from photographing or filming them. Here's an excerpt from the actual memo. In quotes, members of the public are legally allowed to record police interactions. Intentional interference, such as blocking or obstructing cameras or ordering the person to cease, constitutes censorship and also violates the First Amendment, end quote. Now, it does point out that photographers and videographers are still prohibited from interfering with police operations, obviously, but just another reason to bring up, you are allowed to photograph the police.
Is that a 5-yard penalty or a 15-yard?
I don't know, probably 10.
For pass interference. Well, 10.
I don't know, I'm making it up.
Well, don't make stuff up, Steven.
Okay.
I never make anything up on this show.
Ever make anything up.
I mean, it's terrible that we need to have this because there's a lot of cops out there that like to yell at you and just make shit up. Just to say that, yo, you can't shoot pictures of us. This is an official crime scene. I'm like, oh, you're in public. I'm not saying that I've been in that situation, but it's just know your rights, and there's no reason to be a dick to the police if they're questioning something. But if they get way out of line and just there's just times where you can stand up for yourself, and then there's times where it's not worth it. So is it worth creating a scene? Kind of like going into a Six Flags.
I just hate when they're automatically like dicks to you for no reason at all. Like the AC Air Show, for example. And my brother is an Atlantic City cop. I have nothing against cops, but we simply just went up to the officer and we're like, oh, can we go down this road because it was blocked off? And we're like, we're media. We need to get to the tent directly behind there. And he was just like, no, you go that way.
We got cars coming here.
And there's no cars at all.
And I said something dickish and then said, okay.
Oh, you did say something?
Well, after he said it that way, I was like,
it's just we're asking politely.
Oh, you mean all these cars that aren't coming? Okay. And then we kept walking.
It's just like that kind of stuff. You could have just been like, no, you guys have to go that way.
Yeah, please do me a favor and go around the other way.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Punk. All right, Scott, keep going.
The first ever drone film festival is set to take place in New York City on February 21st, 2015. It's called the New York City Drone Film Festival. Very original. It was put together by director, photographer, and aerial cinematographer to celebrate the art of drone cinematography. He's currently taking submissions until November 30th, and all films must be shot, obviously, on a drone and must be 5 minutes in length or less. So this thing will take off and we'll see.
I see what you did there, Steven. Pun intended.
Pun intended.
Pun accepted.
Touche.
Drone war. Touche. Well, they should just have drone wars. I'm sure they have that on the show.
We might do a drone war one day.
We need to when we get home, now that you're not working for anybody else.
Yep.
We can just go make content
and just fight each other with drones.
We have 2, right?
We do. We have 3.
We have 3, but one has to stay in the box.
Do we have only 2?
We have 3.
We have 3, but we're giving one away.
We're gonna give one away.
Yeah.
For the Wheel of Fro. But we have the
GoPro one. We have
the GoPro one, which we have to fly. That's that video has like 150,000 views on it.
Really?
The one that we did.
I love that one.
That was a good video.
It was a really good video.
Choppy McChopperson.
Choppy McChopperson. And imagine if we have drone wars with that. So that'll be pretty cool.
Can we try to catch each other and like attack and put lasers on them?
Lasers would
like
be
the
cool.
Myops.
Yeah.
What's it called? The Myops?
Yeah.
So we could the Myops triggers when it encounters the other laser, and if it takes a picture, you win.
Okay. We could try it. I don't think that'll theoretically work at all, but we could try.
No, it won't, but I'm just making it up.
We could just put laser beams on there in general, just laser pointers.
We should put Nerf guns on it.
Nerf guns will be pretty cool. The rotating ones. Just fire them off.
Like a Gatling gun.
Yeah.
Drone.
And then we'll probably get caught by the cops or something.
Now entering Drone Wars. 3, 2, 1, fight.
So a few more stories. There's a new type of business card on Kickstarter. It's called the swivel card. The unique part about this card is that it's a cardboard card with an integrated USB drive. The company calls it a smart business card that features just ordinary paper. It's called like IntelliPaper. That can be used as a USB drive. The interesting part is that you can actually track down where and when each card is individually being viewed, which I feel like is a privacy issue. And it has built-in analytics for that. The campaign, it's a Kickstarter campaign again. The campaign already exceeded its goal of $10,000, and it's now at over $70,000 in funding at the time of this recording, with about 3 more weeks to go. And it's $29 for a set of 10 if you want to back them, which I feel like is a lot of money.
$29 for a set of 10?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it made out of like chocolate?
So it's expected to ship in November of this year, which is a good thing. So they probably have all these pretty much pre-made.
Hey, here's my business card.
Cost me $3, but here you go.
Here you go. I got 10 of them for $29.
It's a cool concept, but just really expensive.
Or you can just give an SD card out that's like 8 gigs that you spent $3 or less on because they're really inexpensive now.
I don't think they're $3 or less. You're going to spend a little more than that.
You can bet on a China one.
$3?
Just don't put it in your camera. Dude, everything in China is
So just
cheap.
give it to someone else and it'll blow up their computer or something?
Well, you could track them. Totally. That's what they're thinking to do. Anyway, Kickstarter. I may start talking about those. I don't know if I'm going to talk. I don't know. There's so many different ideas on there.
There's a lot of good ones and there's a lot of crappy ones.
I mean, there's this one company that once put like this bag on there. I think they call it the mind shift, and they wanted to like shift your mind to do things.
Oh, yeah?
I think it's some kind of conspiracy that if you put the bag on, you put this mind shift gear on, I think you become an alien.
I don't want to become an alien.
Or you put the bag, and when you attach it and you get the clips on it, because I'm sure there's clips, it's like an exoskeleton, and it makes you some superhuman being. Doesn't actually make you a superhuman being, but still.
Just have a shield around you.
Ooh, shield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Awesome.
Let's see, we have Brandon Stanton, the man in charge of Humans of New York, Honey, took his project on the road with the UN and revealed a new photo series from the streets of Iraq this time. He's currently on a 2-month UN world tour, being there since the first week of August, I think August 7th. Stanton says, in quotes, "We hope this trip may in some way help to inspire a global perspective while bringing awareness to the challenges that we all need to tackle together," end quote. The project began in Iraq, but he's currently moving on to Jordan and will visit 8 more countries before he comes back home. But the stories are just incredible. I mean, if you think Honey is really inspiring, you got to see these ones. It's sad too.
It's so the ones from New York tend to be more positive. There are some downsides, but then when you go to Iraq and you just hear about the stories that these people are telling in the photos, like when I was a teenager, my parents were kidnapped and killed. I now have kids, and I want to make sure that I can provide for them, but it's very hard. It's just unbelievable, the stories that are coming out of there, to just the difference between what we have here, the freedoms we have here, and the abilities to be successful compared to the war and not knowing what tomorrow brings. And that's what these photos are totally different than what you see from Humans of New York.
Yeah.
Just totally different. It's pretty powerful stuff.
And the picture definitely captures it too. I mean, the emotion captured in it, everything. It just goes along perfect with the caption.
Yep.
There's a new program that features a new algorithm that automatically changes the time of day, weather, and season of pretty much any photograph.
Oh.
It's pretty crazy. Did you see
thought
this?
It was some kind of like the Hydra from that Team America movie, Planet America. Team America, Planet of the Apes.
Planet of
Captain
the Apes?
America.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Captain America. You know, you could change the weather and time of where you're at so that you could use weather
Wasn't that the
as
ring
a weapon.
They used? Wasn't that Captain? I'm thinking. What
No,
am I
that's
thinking
Green
of?
Lantern.
No, I don't know what I'm thinking.
One
of.
ring to rule them all. All right, keep going before I get too far down that rabbit hole.
You simply type in more rain for raindrops to appear in the photograph.
No wind.
Or more
No
snow
rain.
for snow to come in.
No, we got to sing that song.
What song are you talking about?
No wind, no rain. What is that? That's what's her name? She used to get beat up by that guy. Tina Turner and Ike Turner.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You gonna sing it?
Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough.
That's terrible.
That was some of the most terrible clapping. It's like, it's a great tempo, Steven.
My rhythm is so bad, it's terrible.
Steven,
dude.
you gotta go home and find rhythm. I got rhythm. I got my girl. I got something who could ask for anything more.
Keep going.
That's all the song that you get.
That's all I get? Just a preview?
Ain't no... Wait, and what's that other song she used to sing about, like, trains to Georgia? Leaving? Leaving on that midnight train to Georgia. Leaving on that midnight train. Woo-hoo! It's a good song.
So awkward.
Not awkward. You just have to own it in front of people. I mean, you suck, you suck. You don't
You're
suck, you
clearly
don't suck.
owning it.
You just own it. Who cares?
Now, the cool part is that it doesn't just overlay a generic filter with this new algorithm. It actually takes under consideration what is in the photo and works around that, creating like a realistic effect. It's not just a generic like Instagram filter. It actually showcases clouds like in the sky, not just randomly over everything in the photo.
What is this?
It's hard to explain.
I totally missed
but,
the story.
Yeah, I know, because you interrupted. And I'm not going to go over it again.
Oh. I have
can
to
just
go,
check it
go
out
to fronosphoto.com/rawtalk
fronosphoto.com.
-99.
Correct. I was just going to say there's a preview of that demonstrating the entire algorithm on Frono's Photo.
That's for me.
You can check it out yourself.
Could you imagine? This was me in school, though. I would be sitting there, and the teacher would say something, and I'd go off. My brain would be like, "Oh, da 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 da," and then it'd be like, "They're like, Jared." I'm like, "What? Are you daydreaming?" "Yes, I'm fucking daydreaming. That's what I do." "Did you doodle on your paper?" "Yes, I fucking doodled on my paper. Leave me alone. That's what. I got bored. You're being a. You suck. You're annoying. You're just.
You suck.
Well, you don't suck, but I didn't mean you suck. I just mean that you're boring. Please stop being boring, and maybe I'll pay attention. Stop reading out of the damn textbook."
You said that to every teacher you had?
No, but my favorite was when they're like, "Please pass in your homework," or the test that was due today, and I'd sit there and be like, "I don't remember you saying that." But if 26 other people turned it in and I'm the only one who didn't, then obviously I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't long for school. It's just, only good teachers, though.
Yet, ironically, you teach photography.
But I teach it in a way that isn't meant to be boring.
Yeah.
You're not going to walk out of my... It's like I should stand on the desk and say, "Oh, Captain, my captain."
Yeah. Robin Williams, there you go.
Right.
One of my favorite movies, by the way.
That was just... But then I wrote that email. Did anybody get the email I wrote about teachers and how they had an effect on you? And now there was one when I was in 4th grade that wouldn't take my shit. It was the first time I had a male teacher. And I think there's a difference when you're younger and you have a male teacher versus... Because the female teachers, generalization, tend to coddle you more and tend to be too nice. Some of them are bitches, but still. But this guy... You want to move the mouse just in case?
Yeah.
Go ahead, move the mouse. Mr. Bennett was the first guy that they would call on you, and I would just be silent, like, "Not going to answer. Don't know the answer. Not going to think. Not going to try." And he would just be like, "We're not moving until you answer." So he just kind of kicked my ass and got me to start to just get out of that being a pussy thing.
I had a professor in college that you had to answer one question every day in his class. So, I mean, regardless if you were quiet or not, or you knew the answer or not, you had to speak up.
And then I had this one teacher, Mr. Alu. We would spend, he didn't care how much time we spent on current events. He felt that it was important that we knew what was going on around the world. So everybody would talk about current events throughout the day. And then maybe we had 10, 15 minutes to go into the textbook. But this guy taught the world. It was social studies, but he taught the world. And that was better.
That's cool.
All right.
And then one last story. There's a new video showcasing what not to say to a prospective wedding client. It's actually a really bad video. You shouldn't watch it. It's terrible. It's not funny at all.
I heard that. That was a really good video.
This guy with a big fro did it. And he had like a suit on or something.
Did you guys like that
Green
video?
Couch. Terrible.
Yeah?
The worst.
No, you didn't like it? Was it painful?
I think he was in it. That guy.
That guy?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't in it. I didn't know how that video would be perceived. I really didn't. When we filmed it, it's actually been done for almost 3 months. It just didn't get edited.
Yeah, well, there was... people don't realize that 2-3 minute video took us like 2 hours to... We had like 2 hours of footage that I had to cut down. We did so many takes. So many takes,
and
man.
It was all... I think we wrote down maybe 10 things to say.
Well, no, there's about 20 things to say.
But the rest of it was just off the top of my head.
Some of it was a little too vulgar to include.
Really?
Yeah.
What was vulgar? I don't remember. We should put out outtakes.
There's a couple things that you said, and you specifically said after you said it, you're like, do not include that. So we could have an X-rated, maybe a bloopers version.
Oh, the one without my pants on this time.
Yeah, everything you said in the Richard Simmons getup.
Oh,
was pretty bad.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
So that was all the photo news stories?
That was all the photo news stories, correct. And I did do half of this like on the way here and last night.
That's good stories.
Drinking a beer or 5. So,
you did have beer.
So, it might not be everything in the past week, but I tried to cover a lot.
All right, Steven, thank you for your photo news.
You're welcome.
Time for Gear of the Week?
Yes.
All right, do you want to pull up the Gear of the Week?
Do I want to pull up the Gear of the Week?
Yeah, from under the table.
It's on your side.
It is?
Yes. The bag?
That's the bag, but the actual laptop.
Oh, we're pulling it out.
We're pulling it out. Pull it out, Steven. So, Gear of the Week is we picked up a new laptop. This is the MacBook Pro 15-inch model with with 1 terabyte SSD, upgraded to the 4 gigahertz boosting capability of the i7 quad core. So basically, what happened is I have a 13-inch laptop that has the Core 2 Duo. I've had it since 2010, and that's a slow 13-inch thing, and you can't do video on it. And knowing that Steven was coming full-time and that we're doing traveling Raw Talks and we're going all different places and we're going to be able to do video and audio on the road, I had to decide what should I buy. And I knew that a 13-inch wasn't going to cut it, so we decided to pick up this bad boy and max it out.
And you didn't want to get a 15-inch at first. You kept saying, I need to get a 13 for travel and blah, blah, blah.
For travel, but when you think of it practically and you go, well, the quad-core processor, the 16 gigs of RAM, the extra video card, the extra space on the screen, it was really worthwhile to have on the to have, even though it's a little larger. But that's why I called ThinkTank and I'm like, you guys make a bag called the
Wait for it.
Artful. Fuck. It's called the fuck.
Did you say artful?
Yeah. It's called the
Artificial?
Yes. Artificial Intelligence 15 version 3. That means it's 3.0.
Oh.
There was a 1.0?
Maybe a 2?
No, there was just a version. There was just an artificial intelligence, right? Did it have a? It didn't have a. Yeah, because it wouldn't be 1.0 because then there wasn't.
Not
so
a
then
Mark
there was
1?
a 2.0. Anyway, this bag kicks ass for holding the laptop.
Really
and
does.
You put the hard drive in here. We got that Western Digital thing.
Yeah, it's not in there now, but we have the 2 power cables, the mouse that we got for that too, and we had the Western Digital, and there was still plenty of room. You actually asked me, you're like, wait, the hard drive's in there? And
It
I'm like,
didn't
yeah.
even feel like the hard drive and everything was in there. So this bag is awesome for traveling with.
Really
I'm
nice.
sure
I had it on the plane.
It may fit into the front of the airport security. Does it slide into that pouch? It does slide into that
Nice.
pouch, which is awesome. But we needed a bag for this because my Urban Disguise 35 version 2 will not fit a 15-inch.
That 13?
This takes a 13-inch, and I really hope that they could just add a couple inches because they make the 50, the Urban Disguise 50, but that's more like this, and I don't like the way that bag feels. So I want them to make this one just a little wide. Call this the 36, just with an extra couple inches on it.
Man, I really wish that we were at like a company's, headquarters
Somebody
that
that
makes
could make
bags,
something?
that you could take some recommendations.
I know, I try. I keep trying. But anyway, so the debate here was, do I get 512 that it came standard
SSD.
with of the SSD, or do I spend, it was $500 more to get another 512.
So expensive, man.
It is expensive.
Those
but
SSD drives, they're worth it, but it's expensive.
my mentality when buying any type of gear is I want to buy the best that I can buy today so that this thing is going to last 3 to 5 years. This should be a 3 to 5 year powerful laptop. And yeah, the prices are, it's going to change going forward, but this is a viable laptop. Even my 13-inch is viable for more than just porn. It still does other stuff very well, like editing photos. But so yeah, there's this.
And I mainly want you to deck it out because we're going to be mainly editing RAWtalk on here when we're on vacation or something. Not vacation. In like Germany or Poland when we're there for more than a week at a time, and I can't get back home and edit it on my workstation. So
Right.
with this, I needed a power horse to really go through and edit, 200 gigs of footage and 2 hours of footage.
Did you say power horse?
Power horse?
Is that like a workhorse?
A workhorse.
A power horse?
You know what I meant. A power horse. It's even more than a workhorse.
Go,
it's a
go,
power horse.
Is that like okay, anyway. All right, JJ, hit me up these cameras because we need you to do something in a second, right? There's a couple minutes left?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, might as well just...
I'll do that.
Yeah, do them both now because we're coming up on Wheel of Fro. You want to get this done? Take it off?
Sure.
Table, please? Thank you. But yeah, that's why we ended up buying that thing, maxing it out because it's going to last longer. And that... I just dropped my Sharpie pen. I'm very upset.
Your highlighter?
My highlighter. That's what it's called? It's a work highlighter?
It's called a power highlighter.
Power highlighter?
Power highlighter.
Yeah, so that thing is cool. Thanks, JJ. Yeah, power highlighter. But again, buy the right gear that you can buy. JJ, what are you doing?
He's just
Double
checking.
checking? Yeah, you better not mess up because then you don't get to spin the Wheel of Fro. Does that sound good? You want
He
to spin
said
the Wheel
good.
of Fro?
Sure.
All right. So well, you don't get to actually touch it because we don't
It's
bring
in
it with
the
us.
TV.
It's in the TV. Steven, why don't you pull that up? So we do the Wheel of Fro, as you guys know, and I'm going to read it, what's on there. Just pause it. There we go. Pause it. Pause it. Come on. There we go. Right there. Right there. Right there. It's sort of there, and you guys at home can see it. So the Wheel of Fro, we like to spin before we go because that way we don't have to bring a wheel with us, and it actually looks cooler to do it at home. But we've got on the wheel, we've got the Rode microphones. As you see, we travel with the Rode broadcaster mics that we're using here. We love them. They make us sound boomy and boomified because they kick ass. We got ThinkTank. Who's that? We got a ThinkTank bag on there. We've landed on there a couple of times. Oh, they're in purple and in green.
Your favorite.
I love purple. It's just like the W Hotel, man.
It's decked out in
I
purple.
love it. It's so modern.
Did you pick that hotel?
I did pick that hotel.
Because of the purple.
Well, because of purple.
Yeah,
I love purple. So thank you to ThinkTank again. But if that hits on the ThinkTank, you get something, and you probably get to leave with it today because we could raid the closet over there, which I was in earlier. Adorama Picks, they'll give you something. Borrow Lenses is $250 in credit. You have Squarespace. This is going to give you a year of, it's like $200-ish for the year of the business thing. Excuse me, a Fro prize, which is whatever the hell I decided it is at the time. Black Rapid for the, you get a Black Rapid strap. Then we just added, this is the first time on the wheel.
The new one.
It's the GI Phantom. And if you hit in between, you get Fro prizes, but it has to land right in the middle, and we will get out a something to make sure that it lands in the middle, if it does. ThinkTank, Rode Microphone, Fro prize, the rest of the people. Lexar's still on there for some reason. I hear they're sending us a new hub. And we did just spin this one time.
We did.
It is legitimately spun once. So, oh, and I also cut myself on the Wheel of Fro this week.
Yeah. I don't know how you cut yourself.
I think it was the plastic. Somehow it was so sharp.
Plexiglass?
The plexi must have cut my finger because there's probably blood on the wheel. I didn't mean to, but it didn't hurt. And then I'm like, I cut myself on the Wheel of Fro. I left myself on it.
I wonder, is your blood still on there?
It didn't. So when you cut yourself so well, it's like a big paper cut. It takes a little time for it to bleed, so to bleed out. So I was bleeding out, and then I had to like lick it. I was like, oh, just the blood. Are we ready to spin it?
Yeah.
JJ.
Oh wait, we got to get a Wheel of Fro from everyone. Wheel.
Oh wait,
of
but
Fro.
shouldn't we give the mic to JJ or not yet?
We can if you want.
Well, what do you hope it lands on, and I'll relay it to the people at home. You're JJ, right? You're gonna spin as a thank you for all the hard work you've done.
Yeah, you've helped us out a lot this whole week, man.
What do you hope it lands on? He's talking. He's thinking. He doesn't care what it lands on.
What's he gonna get? Time's ticking away.
All right. Oh, he's grateful. Well, thank you very much for your help. Obviously, this is so what we need you guys to do, being that Sutter isn't here, we need to take Sutter's job, and on 3 we say Wheel of Fro, and then we spin it.
Yeah.
Are we ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Wheel of Fro. And as round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody. Oh, look at that. See, that's right where I cut my finger. I was like, ah, but I didn't even know it. If round and round it goes, where it stops, nobody knows. Where is it going to stop this week? Right on. Well, how many spins is it going to stop? Squarespace! Congratulations. It really did stop there. So you are going to win yourself a website. Squarespace will hook you up with that. And by the way, thank you to Squarespace for being the sponsor. We couldn't ask for anything better. That's why I prefaced it with we didn't set that up. It just is what it is.
Actually, in the audio portion of that video, which I didn't include, but you can hear me saying, I swear we didn't set that up. Blah, blah, blah.
We spun it once, and I was like, oh, that works. Thank you, because Squarespace got us
It somehow
here.
works out every time. Last time in Seattle, we got the question mark, which rarely it ends
Oh,
on.
the question mark was crazy.
The best prize. Yep. Now, the question mark, if they land on that, are they going to be able to pick the DJI?
No.
Because you should put a little, like...
Disclaimer?
Yeah.
Well,
like,
okay, the explanation, if it lands on the question mark, you do not get to pick the DJ. It has to
anything
land,
but the DJ.
It has to land right on the DJ. All right? Right in the middle. And it has to be, we have to get out a microscope if it ever happens, just to make sure.
Make sure.
But it's a nice prize. It's like $1,300. Yours is only $200. But it's a year of free Squarespace Business Edition. All right, let's get that going because I think we're up to the flying solo portions. Have you guys started to think of questions? Good, because don't mess up. All right, we're going to make sure that I got to turn the mic on. I'm on. Let me test it.
Give me a little tester.
Hello. What are you wearing?
Ooh, that's nice.
Is that a power horse? All right, hand this to JJ, and just raise your hand for questions, and JJ will bring it around to you, and we will go flying solo. Questions, and if you do not, I will yell at you people for not thinking. You've had an hour to think of questions,
and just make sure too when you're holding the mic, try and get it like 2 inches away from your mouth.
Yeah, 2 inches away. Speak into the mic.
There you go, just like that, man.
Sorry, we got the human microphone behind me. That's
human
what they used to
microphone.
call me. What's your name?
Microphone.
I'm Nick.
Hey, Nick. Where are you from?
Chicago.
But you live here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, don't scare me like that. What's going on?
Well, I was just wondering how long it takes you to pick your fro out in the morning. I mean, it's a legitimate question.
It is. I did not pick it out this morning. I did it. When did I do it? The day before. So I did it Thursday night. I sleep on it for maybe 4 days, maybe 5, sometimes up to 7. depending on where I'm traveling. But I still shower, but I don't get the hair wet. I used to have ThinkTank hair caps, so I should pick some up when I'm here. I would wear the ThinkTank hair cap in the shower. It's the one, Kurt. It's the one from the from that audio bag was the perfect size. That I remember that because I used to wear that in the shower. So when I'm picking it out, it takes 31 minutes. How long does it take to pick yours out?
40-ish.
Yeah, I'm better than you.
Oh.
No, just
I mean, mine's a little fuller, so I don't know
fuller,
about that.
but I know what
Yeah, his is nice and
what
thick.
is that thing? What was that word? Nationality? Yeah, ethnicity.
Technically German-Italian.
What?
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense.
That doesn't make any sense. And you have that thing?
Yeah.
That is a very. I saw you outside from here. I was like, oh shit, that guy's got a nicer fro than me. I was like, don't let him in.
I looked outside and I thought it was you. I'm like, how did Jared get outside? I just saw him.
Oh, what can we tell you? All right. Thank you for your question. Was that your? That's it.
Well, I can go more.
Well, we'll keep going. Anybody else?
We'll give it to somebody else first.
All right. Let me ask who. I got a prize to give away. Who drove from the furthest distance? The furthest distance. Well.
Well, 7 hours. How long you? Uh-oh.
Where'd you come from?
Whoa. All right. Wait. We have some for vacation here. Okay.
Oh, they were already here? That doesn't count. Oh, really? Yeah. I should speak German. Oh, what I need to know, I need to do live from Germany. This is Frono's Photo RAWtalk. When I need to...
Wait for it.
Wait, hold on. You get the microphone.
Live aus Deutschland, das ist RAWtalk. Oh, what?
Try to repeat that.
Live.
Live from Germany, this is RAWtalk.
All right, I got the first one. Right?
That's English. Live.
Live. Got it. Next.
Aus Deutschland.
Aus
Deutschland.
Aus
You're not getting
Deutschland.
You don't need to yell to speak German.
But the Germans they're always yelling. All right, I'll do it calmer.
Aus Deutschland.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah?
Das ist
Das ist
Are you even
RAWtalk.
writing down anything?
RAWtalk.
oder Rohsprech.
Well,
That's
whatever that.
RAWtalk.
Live aus Deutschland, das ist RAWtalk. Oh, that's
Yeah,
horrible. I
kinda.
better go practice. So wait. We got a 7 hour and a 7.5 hour. Is that anybody else even close to that? That's not even close. But that is nice.
That's still
It's still
dedication.
good.
That's
Can we
wow.
get a second prize? Can Brian? Can you go raid the closet for something else? We'll give them both something for going 7+ hours.
That's awesome.
You pick whatever it is. All right. So, what was that? 30 minutes extra. So who wants the? Well, I'll give the Urban Disguise 35. Who needs it? Do you need a backpack? No. Do you need a backpack?
Oh, there we go.
Maybe they'll get. Oh wait, there you go. You're gonna get something. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but you're gonna get something nice. Maybe they'll get you the backpack straps for that too, because you need the backpack straps. The something version 2. What are they called? You don't know what it's called, Kurt?
He's like, I don't know.
All right, JJ, you still watching the clocks? Yes, sir. All right, let's get the next question going. We need to rapidly fire them.
Hey Jared, my name's Jose, and
Jose!
hey, my question for you is because I know that you started out doing weddings. Is what's the best advice you can give to a photographer going into their first wedding
Going to your first wedding?
or shooting their first wedding?
Is it a wedding for your? Are you shooting it?
I'm shooting it.
Did you get paid?
Yes.
Don't fuck up. I mean,
Wise words.
well, here. Honestly, the best thing you can do when you're going to shoot your first wedding is I always had a second shooter just so that I had more coverage personally, whether I had to pay them out of pocket or they just wanted to come help out. What you have to look at is make a shot list of the things that you need to get. Make sure that if you're doing it yourself, that you get the tight shot and the wide shot. But if you're going to get the kiss, make sure you get the nice shot, zoom in, get the other thing that you need. Put yourself into the positions to get the images that you need. Pre-visualize what you need.
Safe shots first, yeah.
Yeah, make sure you get everything that you need before. Stop saying need. I said need like 17 times.
I thought you were telling me to stop
No.
saying it. I'm like, I
No,
didn't
I'm
say
yelling
it.
at myself.
Okay.
I'm like, bad, Jared. It's just really be calm and be confident in your settings. Don't do the like I'm going to switch to auto because I'm not confident in my settings type thing. So you just know your settings, be confident, know the shots that you need to get them, and then move on from there.
Is it indoor, outdoor, or
It's out there.
the
It's be
whole
around
thing, ceremony,
4 o'clock,
reception,
yeah.
everything?
Yes.
Well, at least that'll be easier.
All right. Thank
Oh,
you.
I have that bag. That's great.
This is a retrospective 7 from ThinkTank that we're gonna. Does that work for you? This color is called not pinstone,
Olive green.
pinestone. This is pinestone. I call this
Jared green.
monumental.
Monumental
It
green.
looks like a monument.
I guess.
It smells like hemp. Are your bags secretly made of hemp? Here, can we?
Keep your batteries charged.
You're welcome. Okay, next question. Good question. Did that help you, Jose? Yeah. Okay. All right. So as JJ's walking around, we're gonna get another question. How far in are we? Do we have any idea?
We are an hour and 7 minutes in.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll do this for a couple more.
We got plenty of time.
Hello,
Hi.
how's it going?
Good. What's your name?
Brandon.
Brandon, where are you from?
I'm living in Union City.
Where do you get orange pants like that?
My dad,
Okay.
he bought it for me. My question is, I'm currently on my second year in SJSU, and I'm getting my degree in BFA in photography. But I just wanted to know what other major I could go for, like a double major that will go well with photography.
I think anything audio visual is going to be really important. Marketing, branding, advertising, video is extremely important. That's why we've got the Fronos Photo. But you don't need video because the Fronos Photo Beginner Guide, the Fronos Photo Guide to DSLR Video is almost like a college course without spending $20,000.
Awesome.
That's the pitch I'm going to go with. The thing is damn good, not to go down that line. But I would look into the marketing, branding, and advertising type thing. Okay. That is so important today. What's in September?
He's just said, when do you think it's going to come out? And say
We're hoping. Yes, that's the goal. It's like 6 hours of content right now.
It's so much.
It's twice as much as before because it is action packed. I'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
I think that it comes down to the advertising, marketing, and branding. I think that's really important. Photography is very difficult, right? Coming out of school, you may need to have a different job to sustain yourself as a part-time thing. But if you could, like Gary Vaynerchuk, you guys have heard me talk about him before. I looked on his website and he had a photographer job open that I sent him an email. And I was like, man, if this was 5 years ago, I would have been the perfect choice for this job. It was a photography job, but then dealing with different clients, being the conduit to help them figure out what they need. So there's some marketing and advertising involved with that, but you're also doing the photography and working for a cool company. That type of job is awesome.
That's like a dream job.
Well, I said that to him. I'm like, if 5 years ago, this would have been me.
Yeah.
That was the perfect job. So you got to remember that today, anybody out there, it's not just photography. It's about telling the story any way that you can. And I don't think that a straight up photography degree gets you that far anymore. Yeah. I really think that you gotta hammer down on the video and the audio and just know everything about visuals.
Awesome.
All right. So while JJ's resetting the cameras, I'm going to talk about the guide because I guess you guys want to know about it. I want to get it out as soon as possible, but there's a ton of different sections that are 75 minutes long.
Wow.
There's just things in there that are immense. It goes. The information is so good. Todd watched it, he's editing it.
Yeah.
He sits there and he's like, "Man, I wish I had this when I started shooting video." And I sit there and say, I wish I had this when I shot, because I used to shoot at 500th of a second in the backyard, and it would be all like floaty butterflies going by really fast, like staccato type things, and I like that. I actually like that, and there's a time for it, and there's a time not for it, but the general rule of thumb is you shoot at, if it's 1/50th of a second,
double your frame rate.
Double your frame rate. So you have that. We talk about the 180-degree rule. So we've got all those different things. We talk about how to get the right audio. We show you on actual shoots, so it's not boring as hell.
Basically behind the scenes the entire time, yeah.
And Maria's in it, wearing a dress.
She's wearing a dress?
In one of the video.
I didn't see that one.
Three-angle,
I wasn't
lights.
there for that
setup.
shoot. I was just there for the one you guys did.
The ring finger.
Yes. Which took...
It's a ring!
There were so many takes of just that one little thing.
But we show you everything from sliders and motion and audio and how to deal with people and how to ask questions on an interview, because we did an EPK with a bowler who's bowled I think he's done 2 or 3 300 games. He's a friend of mine, Dave Leno. He was on with RAWtalk as well.
He's the announcer guy.
The announcer guy. So it's really good stuff. I can't wait for it to come out.
So we're thinking like September, maybe?
Hopefully the end of September.
Okay, cool.
It takes time. I want to get it right. I don't launch until it's right.
Yeah, I agree.
Everything's got to be right and tested.
And we've
so it
already
doesn't
seen a
crash.
bunch of the test footage,
Oh, we've
sample
watched
footage.
it. And I'll be giving out some previews to maybe 10 or 15 people
Cool.
to get testimonials from.
Very nice.
So, next question.
Hello. If you could photograph one artist or sports team for the rest of your career, who would it be?
I'd get bored as hell doing that personally. I mean, hockey's my favorite thing, and hockey's what I started doing at 15. I would love to shoot the Flyers, but people ask me that thing all the time. That a similar question to that, and my answer is I get really bored doing the same thing over and over. And I think that what I learned from shooting the Flyers, and you have somebody like Bruce Bennett, who's the official photographer for the NHL, who I wanted to be when I was growing up. I saw what he was doing, and I'm like, oh, he shoots hockey. Generally speaking, everything that they shoot tends to look the same, game in and game out. There's only so much that you can do different, from putting a camera in the goal to shooting from the rafters. There's not many different angles that you can get. So it kind of isn't as creative as I would hope. So I don't think I would, honestly, I don't think I'd want to shoot one person if I had to choose, or one sports team. I just think it would get boring. Is that good? I mean, I know it's not a good answer, but that's my honest opinion.
Can I touch your hair?
Yes, go ahead. Pass it along, and then come over and you can touch my hair. All right, I've been molested.
Did you find anything in there?
All right, next.
All right, well, my question is on image rights. Now, you guys both have shot on assignment for Rolling Stone or for the radio station. After you've delivered your images, to the station or to the magazine, what is your copyright? What is your ownership of the leftover images?
Well, so a lot depends on who you're working for. When I was shooting for Rolling Stone, they got one-time usage of it, but then I owned it, flat out owned it. They didn't own anything. They would get one-time usage, and then if they would rerun the image, they'd pay me again. But then I was free after they ran the image the first time to go ahead and release it to anybody else if I wanted to. That was just for that. The radio station?
It's the same thing pretty much. I mean, I own full copyright for all of those images. They pretty much just go on the website and little small image gallery, and that's it.
Yeah,
I still own everything.
And when you're working for certain people, you just have to make sure that it's all figured out beforehand. Are they going to own the images? If they're owning the images, then did you charge accordingly for that? Or if you're a hired gun and you're turning everything over, you got to make sure. Like when I've worked with certain artists and I've traded for access, you can use these images online unlimited without a problem. I still own the images, but you can use them. And I'm in a little different place because I use the access to get more content to create for you guys, and then they get something out of it by allowing me to be there. They get some photos out of it that they can use online, but I tell them that you can, if you want to purchase them for promotional use, you can go ahead and do that. Speaking of that, there was something interesting that happened with that band that I shot a couple weeks ago. And they reached out to me. I'm not mentioning names.
Okay, all right. I was just going.
They know who they are.
Yeah.
They reached out to me to use. Basically, a friend of mine was in. He's on tour with them, and they gave me access to shoot. Didn't have to sign any papers or anything because I just go and I shoot. And I said that you can use these images online. And then they forgot the watermark. They forgot the plug, the credit. But then they corrected it without a problem. Then they reached out to me and asked to use an image for a press release. And I was like, is this a one-time use thing? Is it just going out in one type of thing and that's it? I'm like, if that's the case, I'm not going to charge you for it. But if it's something more than that, I'm going to need to charge you for it. So they got back to me and they're like, or I told them I may need to charge you, but I didn't sit there and flip out right away. I was just like, I may have to charge you. And they're like, well, we have $100 when they came back to me. And I was like, you know what? If you're going to use it once, don't worry about the money. I'm going to let you use that. And then she contacted me back and she's like, we need the full res image. I'm like, why do you need the full res image? Oh, so we could attach it to the email going out in the press release. And I'm like, all right, you need to call me because she's like, I'm assuming it's going to be for X. I'm like, I can't assume anything. So she gets on the phone, and I'm like, so explain to me what's going to happen. Well, the PR company needs the full res image to send out to the PR list so that these people can have the image. I'm like, well, that's not one-time usage. That means that everybody that you send that image to is going to use it to promote the tour and
Every
promote the
show
band
around
and
that area.
sell tickets. I said, that is something that $100 simply isn't going to cut. And no, you can't use the image for that. You're going to have to pay me a substantially more amount of money to do that. And I didn't hear back from them.
Yeah.
But I told them they couldn't do it because that wasn't what we were talking about. And then it turns out that they now have a release that they give out. Somebody sent it in.
I wonder why.
They now have a release that says they own every image that's taken, which is the wrong thing to do.
Well, that's the other thing, just chiming in on that, what he asked is you also got to see what the photo release says. I mean, the band might end up owning it in the end if it really comes down to it.
Yeah.
Or you might be able to only use it for, portfolio purposes or one-time use or something like that.
And then they say that they have the rights to use them no matter what. I mean, these photo releases have gone too far. Be fair on both sides. If you want me to shoot the show and you say something like, you will allow us to use them online for a gallery from it, and if we'd like to purchase them, we will pay you. I don't give a crap. I had to go through 2 curses to get to crap. I don't give a crap what you're going to pay. Just say, we'll give you credit online when we use it in a gallery. That's great because we're giving you access. If we decide that we'd like to buy it, we could pay you X amount of dollars or more depending on what the usage is going to be. Just be fair on both sides. Don't say something like, if you take pictures, we're going to own them all and we can do it for perpetuity for whatever use ever. Bullshit. But that's just frustrating. All right, next question.
Hi, I'm Paulin.
Hi.
I'm in the market for a new camera outfit for shooting live concert photography, and I was wondering if you had a preference. I'm looking at the D800 or the D3.
Okay.
So is there...
What's your budget first?
Just assume that there isn't one.
Well, we can't do that.
Well, in that case...
we can't do that. You need to know what your budget is.
So my budget's $10,000, and what I was thinking was that if I get like a D800, then I'd, use the rest for lenses, obviously.
Well, the glass is where it's at, but I wouldn't buy a D800 for shooting a show. If you're going to shoot a show, I wouldn't go back to a D3. I mean, we're 6 years past that at this point, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that camera, but if you're looking for low light situations, I don't think. Have you shot before?
Yes, 20 years.
What are you shooting with currently?
An Olympus E520.
So, are you expecting to make money out of shooting concerts?
Yes.
Can I dash your hopes?
No.
In a nice way?
You know what? Yeah. I realize I have a full-time job. So.
All right. So this is for fun.
This is for fun.
Okay. The simple aspect, if you want to spend money, and this is just straight up honest, shooting concerts, there's not a lot of money when it comes to shooting shows.
I understand that.
And all right, as long as you understand that, if you're dead set on picking up gear, first things first lens that I ever picked up was an 80 to 200 2.8 because I was shooting hockey. That was the right tool for the job. Lenses are where it's at. If you want to drop some money, you got a 14 to 24, 24 to 70, 70 to 200. Right. You're going to shoot anything that you ever need to shoot with those 3 lenses. By the way, they fit in the Urban Disguise 35 version 2 very well with a 13-inch laptop and an iPad, but not a 15-inch. That's one thing. Body-wise, you could shoot with anything from a D610 because the gear, the glass is the most important, and understanding your settings is even more important than any of the gear that you have. You could have the D4S but not know what to really do with it. So you've got something like a D610 that's going to run you under $2,000. I wouldn't buy a D800 at this point because the ISO didn't expand as far as the D810. I thought the D810 would be a better option for that, but that's like $8,000 or $9,000 right there. You don't have to drop that much. You don't need to buy a 14 to 24 today. You could start with a 24 to 70, 70 to 200, and a D610. You don't have to drop $10,000. Okay. Spend a couple bucks, have those 2 lenses, but know that every couple years you trade, bodies go. Glass stays for 6, 7, 8 years sometimes.
So you're saying the D610?
I think that is an option for you to decide what works best for you.
Yeah, I was looking at speed, so that's why I went as high as it.
Speed in terms of shooting?
Yeah.
Rapid fire?
Right.
That's not important.
Right.
It's important to get the shot.
Okay. No, you're right.
Rapid firing through isn't what it's all about.
Okay.
It's about composition. It's about exposure. It's about understanding the situation that you're shooting in and then capturing the moment. The glass is going to give you a nice step forward, but I wouldn't tell you to spend $10,000 on it unless you can and you don't and you work and it's fine. But I would start with something like this until the time that you upgrade your body is the time that it holds you back. When your body is holding you back from capturing what you need to capture because you fully understand what you're doing, that's the time to get something else. But to start off, I wouldn't drop 10 grand just to drop 10 grand.
Well, that's what I'm experiencing currently with my Olympus, is that I just can't get what I want.
Right.
So.
Right.
Okay.
So that's I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I would start shooting with those 2 pieces of glass. I wouldn't even add a 14 to 24 until you decide that this is something that you really, really enjoy doing, and then maybe you can make enough money that covers paying for gear.
Okay. So you're not even suggesting primary lenses at this
Prime
point?
lens, that's personal preference.
Okay.
But I know from experience shooting concerts and how fast people are moving or where they're moving or where you may be situated that a 50 isn't going to cut it, an 85 isn't going to cut it, and then beyond that you're looking at a 200 f2 or a 105 macro on a Nikon, and it just doesn't. It's much harder to shoot that way.
Right. You have to shoot pretty much the whole show that way.
Basically.
Yeah.
So
okay.
That's why 24 to 70 gives you range, 70 to 200 gives you range.
Okay. Perfect.
Cool?
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Hard answers. This is called hard talk. Wait a second. Wait a second. Hard talk? Peter North?
Oh, God.
Did you know there are Jewish porn stars? The
I did
Hebrew
not.
Hammer. Right?
The Hebrew Hammer?
Well, Ron Jeremy is Jewish.
Is that what he was? Oh, was he called the Hebrew Hammer?
No. He's called the Human Hedgehog.
Oh, yes, the Human Hedgehog.
I mean, we met him in person.
We did meet him in person.
We got to shake his hand at the AVNs.
And I washed my hands several times after that.
We were doing work at the AVNs, research, all right, when we went out there. It was research.
It was all production research.
It was. We were shooting video. What was that? No, I was taking a nap. Well, Sony wasn't at the AVNs, but Sony actually has a lot to be. Actually, no. Sony doesn't have to be thankful for porn because little known fact about the porn industry. A little known fact is that in the 80s, when Beta was coming around, you had Beta and VHS wars. The porn industry backed VHS, and that's how that got pushed through, and it helped drive the market towards VHS, even though Beta was a little better.
Fun fact of the day.
Fun fact of the day.
Fun fact of the
All right,
day.
how are we doing on these cameras, by the way, JJ? All right,
5 minutes.
Next question.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm from here in Santa Rosa. Do we get a prize for the shortest amount of blocks traveled?
Did you get a Pixel Pocket Rocket?
I'm like 4 blocks away from here.
Really? Your prize
anyway.
is you didn't have to spend a lot of money on gas.
No, I could have walked if I wanted to. Anyway, my question is.
Next question.
Already used it up.
I have a really hard time setting prices for anything. I do mostly portraits, senior shoots.
Yeah.
Band photography, that kind of thing.
Gut.
And
go with your gut.
I just have a really hard time
asking
knowing
for the sale.
Where to start? If I go too low, I feel like I'm undercutting. If I go too high, I feel like I'm going to lose clients.
Do you have a day job?
Not currently, no.
Okay. Do you know what you like to make per hour? Just think about it. You know, when you're figuring it out, you have to figure out. Say it's a 4-hour shoot. You're doing a shoot in the park. You've got it's not a 4-hour shoot, but it may take 4 hours total. You've got your travel time to get there. Could be 30 minutes one way and 30 minutes back. That's 1 hour. What is your hour of time worth? Then you've got your shooting, which is your creative fee. How much should I make? What feels right? Is $25 an hour right? Is $100 an hour right? It could be. You know, based off of what you would be doing in a certain job, figure out what you should be getting paid. But then you have to keep in mind that so you've got that hour there for travel, you have an hour and a half of shooting, then you've got editing to do, and you also have the time to talk with the client and maybe give them stuff. You have to think about what feels right. And to me, maybe $300 for a simple shoot like that out in the park sounds about right for a basic starting point. It could be $275. What works best for you? Could be $500, could be $1,000. You can't be afraid to ask. You also have to judge what your clientele is capable of doing and what you're delivering. But you have to get paid for what you're doing. That's the important part. I was a big fan of going with my gut, what felt right. Is it still blinking? Good. What felt right when it came to charging. And then I would ask my professors in college, this is what I'm charging. And they'd be like, you know what? That sounds about right. That sounds like what I would have done. You just have to figure out what is your time worth, what is your creativity worth, and then base it off of that and then ask for the sale. You just have to ask for the sale and not be afraid that you're going to lose it. And then just don't be afraid to work with people either, especially if there's not a big difference between 400 and maybe 375 or 400 and you know what? I don't really I don't go and give monetary discounts, but I can give you added value. I give you an extra couple prints, or I could do X, I could do Y, and just do things like that that add value, so that you're not taking away from the price, but you're adding value so that they say yes.
Yes, that's what I've done before. I've done weddings where I've charged them the regular amount, and then I will give them a nice framed print on top of what they've already asked for.
That always helps.
A little extra. Thank you.
Nice. You're welcome. Go ahead. Question?
For Jared and Steven, what's...
Ooh. I have a question?
Yeah. What's the most challenging shoot you guys have ever done, and how'd you overcome it?
For me, was probably a band shoot with one of my buddies, metal bands, like 5 years ago. It was a really rainy, crappy day, and it was an outside shoot of an abandoned old warehouse, and we kind of did it not the most legal way. We had to jump a fence to get into this abandoned place, and it was this great scenery, but I couldn't use any external lighting. I couldn't really use much because it was raining out, and it was just terrible, but I did get through it and push through it. That was probably the hardest thing I ever had to get through. It was just the rain factor and the legality of the whole issue. That was it for me, yeah.
I'm having trouble thinking of a time that I had a tremendous amount of a problem doing it, but there's always situations sometimes with weddings where you run into certain people that are either a pain in the ass or overbearing or don't know what they want, and sometimes you get to the point where you just have to take control and take the reins away from them to make the decisions, and you just have to take full control. Actually, I guess there was a wedding shoot where we were out there shooting, and this drunk guy was being a real dick to me. Just being a real dick. And so I didn't say anything back, and I was being quiet, and the other photographer didn't say anything back either. But there's that respect thing that happens. So sometimes it's difficult to work with the drunk people that are disrespectful. So to get around that, I'm not going to have a confrontation. I think I probably told them, if you disrespect me one more time, I'm going to walk away, and you're not getting any more photos. I have no problem telling somebody that, because it's just, there's a respect thing, and if you step over that line, somebody needs to put you in your place, and so you have to put them in their place and make them aware of that.
Yeah, there was an issue where I was shooting a wedding, and it was an outside ceremony, and it was under a gazebo pretty much, and there was like this drunk uncle walking around the background taking like pictures with his iPhone like directly behind the bride and groom, and the entire time I'm like trying to wave him off. I finally got my assistant to go and pretty much tell him to get the hell out of there. And half the first couple of set of pictures are just him in the background, like.
Well, see, that's the thing with
weddings.
Looking
around, And I told the bride that I'm like, hey, I tried to get your uncle, away from there, and blah blah blah. And I told everyone beforehand, make sure you're not behind the gazebo.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, here's a challenge. I had this challenging shoot. It was a 30th or a 35th high school reunion.
Oh, I had another one too.
All right, 35th, and this is just coming to my 35th high school reunion, and so they're 35 years out. There was this guy who looked like Billy Mays. All right, he had the beard and he was an asshole.
Did he have an OxyClean shirt on?
He did not have an OxyClean, but he must have been that kid in school that was a class clown.
Mm-hmm.
So he was disrespecting me multiple times, just making fun of me, poking fun at me while I'm doing a shoot, trying to set up to do the photos.
What was he saying?
Just making
just random
stuff about my hair, stuff about me, and I'm like, dude, I know you're trying to relive yourself 30 some years ago in high school, but stop being a dick. So I didn't say anything for a while, but then at some point I went up to him and I'm like, you're gonna stop. You're not gonna sit here and disrespect me the whole time. And again, that's like, I'm gonna walk out. And of course, who do you think complained when they got the photos in the mail? This dish. That was a dick and a douchebag. So this dick douchebag, this dickwad, this bag of douche called me, and he's like, why are there black borders on this frame? Because there was like 100 people on a dance floor spread out like this, so I turned it into a panoramic image. Because if I did it in the other way, it wouldn't have worked. And so this guy's complaining about, I'm going to send you your money back because you're an asshole. And that was it.
That was it.
That was challenging to keep quiet. You usually for 3 times you can say something, and then I'll flip out.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes there's obviously clientele that aren't right for you, just as much as maybe you might not be right for
Well,
them.
that's true.
But the one story I was going to bring up is I had to shoot an aquarium. There was this big, the Camden Aquarium, actually. It was an event. We had a band. This band actually Blue October, and the whole thing was like they do a very, they're all about like the sea and stuff like that. So we did in front of this giant shark tank at the aquarium, and it was very dim lit, extremely dim lit, and there was all kinds of different lighting and situations going on. So anyway, I had the challenge of trying to not get the flash into the background of the tank the entire time, along with balancing the ambient light and then filling in everything while the band is playing. So that was really tough. It took me actually probably like a half an hour to really hammer down my settings in the beginning. And I ended up bouncing my flash off the side wall versus going directly at the tank, and finally it looked pretty good in the end.
Nice.
But that was really tough. That was one of the toughest shoots, I think.
Got it. What else do we have?
How come you didn't sniff test the nasty clamp?
I think I did sniff it, didn't I?
Not that I saw.
Oh, I think the nasty clamp didn't. Yeah. Well, I said it looks like a dildo with something on it. I mean, I think. Yeah, I didn't sniff it.
Oh man.
I don't know what the nasty clamp ended up smelling like. That I don't. I didn't actually sniff that.
Probably plastic.
Probably plastic with a clamp on it.
Yeah, with a clamp.
Nipple clips.
Nipple clips. Who's next?
Hello.
Hello.
I have a question and a comment.
Okay, which one do you want to go with first?
I'll go with question.
Got it.
What's your favorite RAWtalk that you've done? And the suggestion is you guys, if you want, I don't care, but you guys should do like a top, maybe like 5 highlights from your RAWtalks, like maybe important things or favorite scenes, just kind of like a...
From each week?
A montage?
No, not from each week, just like the top 5 from all your RAWtalks, or like...
We have a guy working on the top, the 99 episodes.
Oh, cool.
Well, not this one yet, but he's taking different clips from all of them, putting it together in order.
Is this video or audio he's doing?
It's going to be audio.
Okay.
We'll release that just as audio.
Okay.
Well, I'll probably release
It's
it
so
as a
much
video
work.
too.
I mean,
it is a lot of work, but I'm giving him, I'm paying him to do it.
Yeah.
Which is because he's taking the time. So that should be funny, like a retrospective to look back and do. My favorite RAWtalk, I think the one with my dad was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It was tough. That's one of my favorite. I think that one went off really, really well. I think people really responded well to it because it's real. You see a lot of me in him, and that was a very interesting one. So I think that's one of the favorite ones that I've done.
That was probably one of my favorites too. The Giles Clement one I really liked. I'm just trying to think of some of the interviews we did, some of the more interesting ones. And yeah, I don't know much about tintype photography or wet plates, so that one for me I really enjoyed going back and editing that.
Right, and we have the 5-minute portrait tintype one coming up.
That's coming up.
It's already
yeah.
uploaded. I just have
it's ready to go live. Yeah.
We'll do it live. All right, how much time are we at? I just want to make sure we're in the right.
We're about an hour 33 minutes in.
All right, so we'll take 2 more questions.
Hi, it's Phil Meyer.
Hi, Phil Meyer.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's up? Is it a radio voice?
Well, sort of. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for you and telling me about the Rode Broadcaster and the H6, that's what I use.
There you go.
You podcasting now?
I'm part of a radio show, Gabnet.
You sound like a radio guy right now.
Well, anyway. I was wondering, where did your inspiration for Postman Fro come from?
Okay, that came from... if you look at Pleasantville, the movie, what's that guy's name? What was that? No, he's in that movie, but it's the repairman, the TV repairman. That is where I took the voice from. If you go back and look at it, it's a well-known actor that I just can't remember. If somebody wants to, what was that? Is that his name? Yeah, because he's like, well, how could you do that? He's like, you broke the teeth. You're changing up the Pleasantville. Pleasantville used to be all pleasant, and now people are turning colors.
I thought you got it from like Mr. Rodgers or something.
Well, part of it is Mr. McFeely.
Yeah.
But yes, that's part of it. But the voice part of it
is from there.
Came from.
So it's like a combination almost of both.
Well, yeah.
So and now we got to redo the intro now too because you have the official USPS hat.
We do have the
Safari.
But
hat.
that's where the voice came from.
That's awesome.
So cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What last question?
I think we got one more, right?
One more. All right.
Hello.
Hello.
I think all of us here
Do you have a TM on your shirt or no?
I do.
I was just checking because I've run into somebody that didn't, and no, that's okay because the first
Well, I was
batch,
just smart enough to add it when I ran them off.
There you go. No, the first people that the very early ones didn't have it on there.
The limited edition.
So I ran
ones.
into somebody in
First
Vegas.
edition.
Yeah, one of the guys in Vegas, one of these younger guys, he had one without a TM. He had one of the early ones. Then you can also there's people that sell fake ones, but they also look like crap and they're crap.
Mine are top quality.
Nice.
All right. Question is, I think all of us here are here because we respect your opinion and look up to you a little bit.
A little bit.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not that tall, so.
Oh man.
So I was wondering if who would you like? Do you look up to and would not mind looking at some of your work and respecting their opinion?
So photography wise?
Yeah. Like if you could show your work to someone and be like, I want to know what you think about this.
I mean,
and respect what they have to say.
There's very few people that I honestly would. I mean, it's the top of the top people. You know, it's the people that have. It depends on what it is. Like if it's wedding photography, then I want to show that to the top wedding photographer and get their opinion. The AC Air show that I just did, that I'm going to show photos to my buddy Matt, who's been doing that for over 20 years, shooting aerial photos, and I want to hear what he has to say because I'm going to listen to him more because he's an expert in what he does than I'm going to listen to somebody that just is a weekend warrior that goes out and does it because he's proven himself. He's done it. So I like to get information from those. I like to go to the top people in whatever industry it is, whether it's photography, tech, and I can listen to them. Like Kurt, if he was to look at my photojournalistic work, or Ziv Karen over there in Israel, if he was to take a look at the stuff and give me some opinions, then I would take it because they're working professionals. I like working professionals that I'm friends with to hear what they have to say, and I don't want them to, and they don't hold back. You know, it's not about holding back. I want to hear your opinion, what you like and what you don't like, but you have to remember that these are just other people's opinions, and it still comes down to what you like the most because it's still your photograph. In the tech world, I look up to the people that are big in tech. The founders of companies that I can sit there and have conversations with, the ones that I really respect that they've built. Like we went out to lunch yesterday with the guy who founded Spreecast, who also founded StubHub and sold StubHub, and I like sitting there and he asks so many great questions.
He did, yeah.
And then I ask questions of him, and they're straightforward business type things. It's just really cool to have these mentors or people that you could pick up the phone with that you do respect, and it's usually the people at the top of the game that have been established, that have been there before, that I sit there and I go, all right, because I am the worst with criticism. Corrective criticism, you can go all the way back to school where I would just fight with teachers when they would try to rip something apart, and I'd be like, nope, don't agree.
It's perfect.
Don't agree. No, it's not perfect, but I just didn't like what. There's certain ways to give feedback, and I try to do that in the rapid fire critiques, is give feedback in a more positive light and not just rip you to shreds because you're a teacher and you want to be a dick and you're a teacher, not a shooter. You're just teaching and you're not actually in the field doing it, which was one teacher named Mimi.
I feel like I could probably name some people who you look up to. As far I can kind of combine a couple. Gary Vaynerchuk I think would be one. Jim Marshall I could see, even though he's passed away. But also the guy from Shark Tank.
Well, Jim Marshall, Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban.
Jim Marshall did look at my work.
Oh, did
he?
The
night I met him, I gave him the book, and he's like, "Oh, this is good stuff," and he smacked me in the face. Well, he was drinking, but
I was gonna say,
that's what he always did. But no, what he noticed was our work was very similar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was 40 years
prior,
off from what he was doing, but we could see the difference between his work and my work, like very similar in style, which was cool. So yeah, again, the guy at the top of the line.
Yeah, combination of those kind of three people all inspire you.
Cool. But it's a good question.
Very
Did
good
I
question,
answer it
yeah.
right enough? All right. I think we've come to the end of the show.
I think we have.
I got to thank people. Kurt, thank you. Thank you, Brian, for helping us make sure that we could get this location. So ThinkTank, big ups to you guys. Check out ThinkTankPhoto.com. Check out Kurt's stories about a photograph. Those are really cool. And yeah, obviously the pros use the bags for a reason. And I like them and just travel around. Also, I have to thank Squarespace for getting us out here and basically covering all the expenses. Go to squarespace.com/fro. You can get a 14-day free trial. And if you like it, then go ahead and sign up for a year or a month but get 10% off if you use code FRO. And what was that? A water bottle? Was that what that was? A water bottle? I love Name That Tune. Name That Tune is one of my favorite
Well, you
shows
would've got that
ever.
one right.
What was the name of the Name That Tune guy?
No
The
idea.
guy? Yeah, one note. Exactly. I said that to you the other day. It was, Jet, are you going to be my girl?
Mhm.
And I'm like, Jet, are you going to be my girl? And you're like, well, it's one note. Anyway, name that song in one night. So, all right. I want to thank you guys for coming out here.
Yes, thank
so
you
let's give
all.
you guys a round of applause for taking the trek. And would you guys like to help me sign out? So when we get to the... I'll do Jared Poland because that's me. That's not you. And you can do the FroKnowsPhoto.com and see a part. All right, sound good?
Oh.
What was that? What did he say?
He said, I think I could do the Jared
Oh, the
Poland
Fro
part.
Challenge. All right, so that is going to be Raw Talk episode number 99, our second mobile Raw Talk, sort of from San Francisco, even though we're an hour away. And that is it. Jared Poland, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya!